want to thank Eileen for writing to me at Ask Rafah with a problem that she entitles, "My husband won't give up his mistress or even let me leave." And her brief letter explains the situation somewhat, and this is the background of her problem. She wrote in saying, "When my husband and I moved abroad, he persuaded his mistress, who is 20 years younger than him, to quit her job in London and move closer to us. I think she was surprised when she found out that he was still living with me and our 8-year-old daughter. But despite him telling her that he would never leave us, she still stayed for 8 months. He lied to me when he went to see her and paid for all her expenses, which included hotels, shopping, entertaining, phone and travel costs. She even stayed at his mother's house for 2 weeks. I couldn't leave him at that time because we were working on a business venture together. Eventually, his mistress moved back to London, and with her gone, I was going and hoping that we would be able to rebuild our life together. However, he still travels back to London, and I know that he's in touch with her, and we fight. We fight all the time, and I've asked for a divorce, but he says I'm being over emotional and it would be not good for our daughter. I own our home and could afford to leave him, but I'm nervous about doing this. I need some guidance, and there is nobody else I can turn to." So you can actually hear that Eileen, I feel, is really super stuck and feels extremely powerless. So let me say, Eileen, one thing to you if you're watching this, and this is for any other viewer that might relate to a situation where you feel that you're trapped or stuck in a marriage that you feel hopeless and helpless to move out from, or even more importantly, powerless. Because I feel the biggest issue here is your lack of power in the situation. First thing I want to say is I think you need to really get the fact that your husband is very selfish. Okay, a very selfish man. Clearly it is very one-sided because he has persuaded his mistress to come along when you moved abroad to do your business together. Despite the fact that he was honest with her, he still wanted to have his cake and eat it. All right, and it seems that he let her stay at his mother's house. So you don't say if the mother was actually there or not, and I'm going to assume that she wasn't. Because it would mean that the mother was also colluding in his affair. And quite clearly, this is not the arrangement of your marriage, and nor is it the current arrangement of your relationship. One thing we've got to understand is people enter into all kinds of unspoken and spoken arrangements, okay? We're going to assume that upon entering your marriage that you both signed up for a monogamy. And that is totally cool, because that is how things have been set up, and that's clearly how your relationship is. Now, you say you fight all the time, and I'm not surprised that you fight all the time, and that is because you're definitely at odds with what you want in this relationship and what he's having in the relationship. And clearly it sounds to me, Eileen, that you are dealing with somebody who wants it his way and is not considering your feelings. This is also very apparent to me because he is accusing you of being over emotional and asking you to speak about his daughter or think about her, when in fact he's done nothing but think only of himself, and neither of yourself or your daughter for that matter. And one thing that's really clear as well, and one thing I know for sure, is that kids are very perceptive, and despite the fact that he's letting you know that even in the fact that you mustn't be over emotional, or he doesn't want his daughter to sense, she will well know that there's something seriously wrong with your marriage. The fact that you fight all the time, and these kind of energetics people can pick up on, despite however well they think they might be hiding it. Yes, so I would really inform you that we really need to consider leaving this marriage, as he won't give up his mistress, as you say. and also he won't let you leave. Now, I don't think anyone has that kind of power, and in fact you're acting extremely powerless, Eileen, and so I think we need to work on you and not your husband here, because you are the one who's written in. And this goes for anybody who writes in. You might have a problem about your partner, or you might be projecting, but it all comes down to you organizing, sorting yourself out, and making the changes you need to make yourself. So let's start with you. You seem to have agreed to this arrangement, despite the fact that you haven't said so, because you've gone along with it for a very long time. Somewhere along this letter, you also say you couldn't leave him at the time because you're working on a business venture together. So in some way you were playing a charade or going along with it in order to keep the appearances and the business intact. All right, but the most important person that needs to remain intact is yourself, and clearly your daughter as well. You also say to me that you own your own home and you could afford to leave him. And, you know, quite frankly, a lot of women stay stuck in relationships because they're too afraid to actually leave a relationship, because they feel they haven't got the security, or the income's been coming from the husband, and all the sense of financial and emotional support, particularly around security, has been supported by the partner, and in this case, like you, husband. But you seem to be able to afford it. So I really don't understand quite why you remain with him. I suggest you do some further work with me to undo this situation that you find yourself entangled in, or at the very least have the courage to leave him. You'll not lose your home. It might get ugly. You might have to battle it out, but it's worth the battle because you have a sense of self. And I really recommend that you start working with the chakra system. The chakra system is an energetic system, a bit like a guitar on guitar strings on a guitar. And when they're out of tune, we tend to sort of sing our song, so to speak, in a very convoluted and polluted way, which is what you're doing. And like a guitar string, if the guitar is out of tune, you're not going to get the best tune or song out of a guitar. In my understanding of your complaints, I would say there are three main factors of what's going on. That's your solar plexus, your root chakra as well, and your heart, because of course your heart would have been broken and you're feeling wounded. Your root chakra because your grounding is off, and you don't know where you're coming or going. And the biggest factor here is your solar plexus, which is to do with your central core power. Now when you tune these chakras up, you will find with some great amazement you can actually change the way you function, the way you speak, and the way you actually behave. I can assure you, with you tuning those chakras up, you will leave your husband no problem. You'll find the strength to do so, and you will speak up for yourself as well. So that's to do with the throat chakra. And I don't think you will actually stand for the way you've been treated. But for some reason, unless people actually get some kind of energetic help, you're not able to untangle and dismantle yourself from this relationship. So my suggestion to you is, as distressing as it may be, I would pack your bags, or pack his, get them out the door, and in the meantime, change the locks on the door, make it known to him under no certain terms that he can accept and tolerate any kind of behavior. I think it's gone past being able to trust him, because this has gone on for quite a while. And I can't tell you if I am telling you that you should leave him. But that said, if you really choose to leave him, you will find it very difficult to build your relationship up on that mistrust. Because anytime he is out, late, or whatever, you are going to feel that he's probably with somebody else or whatever. And you've allowed actually that mistrust to occupy you for a long time. So all I need to say is find yourself a counsellor or a therapist and choose to lead a happier life, because you deserve it. And for anybody else who might want a bit more guidance on this, I will have a 10-minute recording on Vimeo on how to tune your chakras to do with this very issue about getting your power back, be able to take a stand and take a stand in your ground, leaving when you need to leave, or at least standing up for yourself, speaking your truth, and more important, healing your heart. So if these are the elements that you'd like to learn from, there's a link below on on my description box, and you'll find it. You can go into the Vimeo that will help you shift your life for good. Thank you for watching. Speak to you soon. Bye.